You didn't ask a question.
I have Zachary Richardson today, the owner of the Character Center. Hi, Mr. Richardson. How are you?
Doing well.
Thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me today.
No problem.
Could you please tell me a little bit about the Character Center and what you do here?
Okay, I'm the founder of the Character Center, and my whole job is to make everybody's life a little easier. And so it's about community service, trying to help as many kids to matriculate from elementary to middle to high school, and then off to a trade or either go off to college.
Okay, what was your motivation for starting the Character Center?
My motivation was my inheritance. I'm a product of adoption, and so my adopted mother left me a nice chunk of change, and she asked me to help other kids like she did with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you decide on the legal business structure of your business? A sole proprietor, a corporation, or how did you decide how you were going to legally form it?
Well, my vision was to have a foundation, and it had to change over to a non-for-profit. Reason being that with the foundation, many donors can't give you money.
Right.
And so I had to go through a school of hard knocks. I'm still going through that process because I originally set up a foundation, and they just wanted to make me not a charitable organization, but a 501c3. It was too difficult.
So what team of people did you have to incorporate into your vision to help you?
Well, I actually went to the Small Business Development Center here in town, and I looked at it first from a for-profit standpoint versus a non-for-profit. I didn't realize at the time that I could be a non-for-profit and still generate a profit, and so that's the reason I went that route.
Okay. And how much time did it take for you to plan the whole enterprise structure that you have? I mean, exactly how much time did it take?
It is ongoing. It took me probably about 2 years to get it off the ground and run it.
And I know that you used to, your facility used to be located over by Florida A&M University, and now it's here over by Tallahassee Community College. What made you decide on what location your business was going to be?
Well, as you know, right now on FAMU Way, it's a lot of construction, so we had to hindsight see how that would totally affect our business. And so that project's been going on for almost 2 years now, and it's connected with the Cascade Park redevelopment. And so we really didn't want to move because it was prime location, but when they started doing all the road construction, it was going to put us in a negative light. So we moved before the construction began. Okay,
when you first opened the doors of your business, what steps did you take to promote the Character Center, to let the public know that the Character Center is here, your services, everything? What advertising and marketing strategies did you use to promote your business?
Well, we actually didn't do any marketing. We did everything by word of mouth. It was prime location from a standpoint that I was just servicing the family DRS kids, and there was an overwhelming amount of students there on campus. And so I didn't need vans, buses. The kids can walk directly from campus across the road, and then they can come to my center. And so as parents pass by, you can see the center. It says Character Center, and it had little ABCs on the side. And we got a lot of phone calls. And so in the first year was way over capacity.
Just by word of mouth?
Just word of mouth. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I know that your company does have a website. It's a very impressive website. Who did you get to help build your website and put a lot of marketing and promotional materials on the website so it could be user-friendly to the public? What IT team do you have?
Well, we have two teams, and first it started off with someone who's been in the business for a while, a gentleman named Joe Martin, and Joe had a staff that worked his company, and he was excited about helping me get my company built. So he said, well, let me do the marketing aspect or the web-based stuff for you. And so I was hands-off. I just let him use his years of expertise, and he had his own staff out of Dallas. And so they put together the logo, the branding, everything. I can't take credit for their work. Okay. So it was a secondary company.
What are the licensing requirements for a business like this?
Well, you have ELC, Early Learning Coalition, dealing with kids. You have to, of course, go through the background challenges. Being that we are not a daycare center, we don't have the same issues because our company only work with our clients here from about 3 o'clock until about 6 p.m. So we don't have to worry about diapers and milk and refrigeration, having a certified director in early childhood education. because we don't service little small kids below the age of 5. So everybody's here is 6 and up.
Okay, so you're not required to be licensed by the Department of Children and Families?
We're required to have the same standards through the Department of Children and Family regarding the background checks, but we're not required to have the same amount of certifications. Of course, we have to have all employees making sure they have the CPR training, first aid training, things of that nature. My clients and understand that all my students here are my employees. They have degrees. Okay. And so by having degrees, it can substitute from some of the course hours or required hours that's set up for other child care centers.
Okay, what processing do you use in order to select potential employees that you can trust?
Well, we start off with volunteer. Anybody that come aboard is considered a subcontractor initially. And they come in, they put in about 75 hours of volunteer, normally through the university system. Once they prove themselves, then I will extend the offer to them probably the next semester. And so we go through Florida State, FAMU, and TCC, and if they really work out, then it's perfect for us.
What do you think the important quality of an employee that you would hire would be in a business such as this one?
I would say the reliability. You know, they have to be reliable because many of the clients that we serve is looking for someone to serve in the capacity of a mentor or serve in the capacity of a friend. Mm-hmm. If you're going to pop and not be in, not show up for work, then we have a major problem. So I need the person to be reliable.
Okay, did you have any, I know that your wife does work here and helps you in your business enterprise. Did you have any other interested family members in coming aboard with?
Well, no, we try to keep that separated. You know,
okay.
It would be lovely to have family members working, and to grow it is always good for that family function piece. But being that my wife, siblings have their own careers, professional careers, mm-hmm. then that wasn't something that, you know, yielded itself to us. Okay. And being that I don't have, you know, family per se, I couldn't bring my members in to be involved with it. So
okay, so so as an entrepreneur, about how many hours per week do you put into your business? Every single aspect is you actually being here, the planning, the growth, development. How many hours per week do you put into the Character Center?
You put 6 times 12, and then that's how it works out. So
about 72 hours.
Yeah, about 72 hours. Yeah, a week.
And how does that affect your family, your personal life? Does it affect it at all?
It affects every aspect of your life because it's you don't get the quality time per se with your own family at time. You have to create the family structure where some of the activities that we do here, I would incorporate my family to come on some of the field trips. Shut down on Sunday, so that's my day totally to my family, so I get that quality time in. And then when I leave here some evenings, sometimes it's 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I have to go into father mode, get home, make sure homework is checked out. For whatever strange reason, my daughter doesn't feel as though, oh, Daddy must do this part.
Right.
Yeah, it is what it is, you know. But it's a lot of strain, you know, I won't lie to you, because you're putting other people before your family. You really are, and
is it worth it?
It is. You know, I have to say that it's a high that you can't get from anything else. I'm not a drug user. You know, I do drink, but the reality is, you look back on sacrifices other folks have made for me. You know, I was very fortunate to have 2 loving adults to adopt me, and just to think that I would be selfish and not want to reach back and help somebody else. Somewhat disturbing, and so I have to do what I do to help other people. So it's worth it. Okay,
and do you have a succession plan for this business?
Yeah, that's the hardest one. I didn't want to do one. You know, I used to always say that when I died, the Character Center died. But the board of directors don't play that game very well. You know, we did a succession plan about 3 years ago. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, where I had to sit up and write up a full-scale plan of what all I do. You know, I had to put everything on paper. I had to get my insurance policies and stuff situated. And then I had to make sure that the board, as well as someone other than Zach, knew how to run it in case something happened to me, untimely demise, that they can run this business. and it was tough because I don't think no one would do it like I'm doing.
Of course.
Yeah, you know.
So tell me, what is the typical day of Zach Richardson? What time do you get here? What time do you leave? What is your typical day like? Do you have a scheduled lunch? Do you just take lunch whenever?
Typical, what does typical mean? You know, in some days I can arrive here as early as 6:30. That depends if I have to go out and do a speaking engagement or if we're going to put on one of our mascot shows. And then other times I might slack off and get here at 7:15. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a normal day where I'm coming in, making sure files are done, calling schools to do, maybe going into a school visit or sit in on a IEP interview for a student and serve as a representative of a parent who may not understand the language center. And then there was an invitation made based upon those who were true workers during the steering committee process. And then I offered them a chance to serve on the board. Okay. And that's how that worked out for me.
Okay, so tell me, what is the typical day of Zach Richardson? What time do you get here? What time do you leave? What is your typical day like? Do you have a scheduled lunch? Do you just take lunch whenever?
Typical, what does typical mean? You know, in some days I can arrive here as early as 6:30. That depends if I have to go out and do a speaking engagement or if we're going to put on one of our mascot shows. And then other times I might slack off and get here at 7:15. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a normal day where I'm coming in, making sure files are done, calling schools to do, maybe going into a school visit or sit in on a IEP interview for a student and serve as a representative of a parent who may not understand the language.
So you are hands-on in the business versus assigning these projects to others to do?
It's twofold. I have certain people that go out doing some of the same things that I'm involved in, but for the most part, I'm very, very hands-on.
Okay. If you were to open a second business, what would it be?
If I had a second business right now, well, great question. It would possibly be teaching people how to run a business. It would.
Wow.
I love people, and I want people to learn the different dynamics of what it means to be an American citizen, more so than anything else. In the last 2 years, I've had a paradigm shift in my own personal life and how I see world views. And I tell my students that if you're not networking, your net worth is not worth a quarter. And I wish someone would have taught me that earlier. You know, coming from a predominantly African American community, I was always curious about what has happened in America, why it seems that minorities get the short end of the stick. But then once I got into business, for myself, I recognized it has nothing to do with your minority status. It has a lot to do with the color green. And if you have a reliable product, that's all that matters. You get any kind of client. It doesn't matter. But we put ourselves in a box, and we feel as though we have to serve our own kind socially. And this is a great business to be able to service all type of people. And so I would train more people to say, hey, dude, if you ain't networking, you have no net worth. And I'm learning how to network now more so than I ever did from the beginning of my company to now.
Okay, so if you had the opportunity to go back from day one when you had the idea of the Character Center, what would you do different?
Oh my God, I would do everything different. I mean, really, I would have been more mobile. I would have probably taken a bus and loaded up with all my supplies and figured out 5 locations and have about 3 or 4 volunteers to ride with me and take the product to the kids. Hindsight. It is very challenging when I service about 65 kids on a daily basis. And to have those kids go back into those schools and the overwhelming amount of students there supersedes some of their good inner workings. And so if we could train more kids how to have great character, then there would be a social responsibility. So I kind of feel cheated that my kids know success principles. And they go into an environment where many of the kids they work with within a 6 to 8 hour day does not have success principles.
Okay.
It's somewhat frightening. So if I was able to reach more kids in a capacity and teach them how to have camaraderie, how to work together effectively, I think I would appreciate that more so than picking up kids from schools and bringing them here.
Okay, what is the worst experience you've had while starting, growing, and operating your business where you have the knowledge now not to go back and make that same mistake? Like what is an experience that you went through that was really negative? Where
Taxes.
taxes.
Yeah, in regards to the tax area, being a not-for-profit and having your own business, you have to manage that as well. And knowing the tax codes to make sure that you are abiding and paying enough of your taxes, and that you also have things that will allow you to write off. I would have done better by studying the tax codes and knowing that if I generate this much revenue, then I must do this much in return to be able to write most of the stuff off, or more so that how do I have other streams of money coming in, so I won't rely on just one pot of money.
Okay, so what is the best advice you could give me or anyone else trying to start a business like this?
Yeah, get you a lawyer. I would say, I always have someone who's smarter than you to give you advice.
Okay.
And then go look for somebody who's been in a business that you want to run for more than a decade. You have to have that 10 years and just sit there and pick their brains and just be real with them about what you want to do, how you want to do it. And then take with you a plan. The best thing to do is to always come up with a generic business plan and ask someone to mentor you so they can physically and mentally absorb what you've written, check it off, tell you yay, nay, and then let you take over from there.
Okay, is there a possibility in the near future that we'll see a second Character Center, or is this a brand that you would ever consider franchising?
No.
No.
No, I wouldn't do it. It's like one of those kind of things that the structure in which I saw and what I really wanted to do for so many people, it no longer exists. This market is dwindling at a rapid pace, and it's going to have to be smaller units of kids being served and not a cookie cutter kind of situation, because all kids learn differently. As we continue to change the model of how one receives an education, we're going to have to change the way we educate our kids. And so for me, I'm trying to revamp and redevelop my program, because now with the schools having extended days, that means that more parents are opting not to utilize a service of someone like myself. They are staying at the school longer, where it's not actually a cost to them. And so as we continue to see our economics change, the dynamics of people having extra income left over, we'll see how everybody does stuff.
Okay. So in that case, do you have any strategies in mind to sustain the Character Center even though the market is dwindling? Yeah,
it's going to be more grants and going to their market and doing what I can do to help those and recognize I can't save everybody. That's going to be new. I came in this thing with, I can save everybody. I sunk $300,000+ in this business. Just wanted to help as many people writing books and all kind of stuff and trial and error. And you can't help, nor can you save everyone. Some people just going to be themselves.
Okay.
Oops, for the wrong crowds.
Okay, and I see that, here the Character Center is very, very successful. What is it that you personally feel attributes to the success of your business? What is the one thing that you feel, or maybe not even just one thing in general, that you feel makes your business successful? What makes the Character Center?
My word is my bond. If I tell a parent I'm going to do something, 10 out of 10 times I get it done. And I think that's what we have to go back to. Old school way of making a man word become his bond. It's nothing more than your word. I had to live with that too. Even in good, bad times, I would give a deal. Oh God, why did I give that price so low? But your word has to be your word. And that's it. And people trust you. And no matter what, my word will always be my bond. People can say that if Zach said, it's like E.F. Hutton, it's going to happen. Because I will go to my grave if I tell you I'm going to do something to do it. And that, I tell people in life, that's good, bad, or ugly. If I say I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you. If I say, excuse my expression, I'm going to slap your ass down, I'm going to slap your ass down. And it's not to be violent, but it's just to say that that's my seriousness and my undertone. I don't say things that I'm not going to do. And so that forces me to bite my tongue and grit it out. Ooh, I just want to say something. But if I cross that line and say it, it's going to take place.
Okay.
And that's it. Your word be your
Well,
bond.
thank you so much, Mr. Richardson.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
Appreciate it
Thank you.
so much, and good luck with everything with the Character Center.
Thank you.